Calm down.
I'm calming down.
Breathe.
Oh, I love this series so much.
I can tell. I'm saying respond to ones you don't like.
It's like if I didn't like it, I wouldn't bother watching it. And I wouldn't give a crap.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, because I care about the people we're clearly not supposed to care about.
Pick somebody else next.
I can't help it. It's always the case. I don't even know if there's anything else to talk about in this episode. I think I've just covered it all. We really don't need to actually be watching it at all, do we?
No. Don't know what the bloody hell's going off anyway.
You know enough.
Even when I know what's happening, I don't understand it. Makes no sense to me.
Well, you know enough. We're mad. Oh yeah, that's the only other thing, is that we went through a really painfully long tournament arc while we had to put every other story on hold just to do this whole tournament thing. And it was absolutely excruciating to get through, knowing that there were other things that we want to know about, and we don't want to spend time doing this because there are other things to do. And then it ends, and then in this episode, he just gives it back.
Gives what back?
Guy gives the company back to Adito. So he's like, what did we go through that for?
To flesh out the series.
There are other things to do. There are other people to talk to. So that was just a complete waste of time.
But he's also dodgy, isn't he?
Guy.
They're both dodgy.
Guy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be, yeah.
I mean, there's Adito, or whatever his name is. He's dodgy.
He is dodgy, but the series refuses to admit that he's dodgy.
So it doesn't really matter who's got the company, because they both... The result is the same.
No, exactly.
For the human gear.
I know, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who's got the company, but we still have to go through all of that.
Alright then.
Right, well, we've been recording for about as long as the episode is. So I think that wraps up that one. Oh yeah, at the very end. At the very end, it's one of those things where throughout the entire series they kept feeling like Horobi was finally going to be freed from the Ark, but then no, and then it looks like it again, and then no, and yeah, it was just one of those things where oh, for God's sake, just let him do something.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, we start with Jin trying to kill Horobi. Then Horobi gets the upper hand, but he can't go through with it because even while he's hacked by the Ark, he still loves his son, unlike, the other way around.
Yeah.
And so then the Ark tries to get him to kill these other Humagear, but because what all Horobi actually wanted to do was have a world that was safe for Humagear, which would imply that humans were making it unsafe, but we're not allowed to talk about that. Because Adito is perfect and knows everything. So he can't go through with that either. And then Jin shows up, and then the Ark full-on possesses him to try and kill Jin. But Horobi stops it, and then forces the Ark out, and then the Ark goes into Jin, and so Horobi and Adito fight together to free Jin, and then the Ark goes up to the satellite that Ikazuchi is then there to destroy because it's so much easier to go to space than it is to go under the sea.
Of course.
So then right at the very end, and it finally looks like, oh my god, Horobi's finally going to be okay, and he's going to specifically survive the series. Because if they could do that whole redemption thing earlier on, then he would probably survive the series, and that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
Or at least, dying. I think at the time I wasn't even convinced that he was going to survive. I just wanted him to die kind of, respectfully. Don't ruin the character to kill him. So at that point I thought, oh my god, finally he's going to be alright. And then the very last thing he says is that he still wants to destroy humanity. So he's like, oh, for God's sake, we went through all of that. And but it's very clear later on he doesn't actually want to, and he's just saying that because that's all he's got, because he has been hacked for 12 years, but nobody cares about that.
Mm.
It was such like a good episode until the very end, and it was so frustrating.
How many videos have you done saying exactly this?
Oh my god, almost all of them. My videos are practically identical. It's just me moaning about the same thing every time.
Why don't you just re-upload the same bloody thing?
It's half of my conversations with my friends about the same thing. I was complaining about Anato. The whole.
Move on.
Oh my god!
Let it go. Let it go. Don't go on anymore.
No, it's all I care about. It's good if the series had. I am so going on about it, and you've got to listen to me. If the series acknowledged how crappy of a person Anato was, then I wouldn't care. But it's the fact that, you know, he does all of this crap, and then other characters are very uncharacteristically do that thing where they talk about how great the main character is. It's like, but he's not though. It's like that's why it bothers me. If the character was embraced as a dodgy person, then I would quite enjoy the character because I really like dodgy people. It's like making him do all of that and then calling him a saint. It's like, priorities are a bit weird.
I agree.
Right, I'm done.
God, for that. You're gonna
With the first episode, not 4 more.
something.
Do you want me to pass it outside?
It's only Prozac.
Remember when we said that we wanted these videos to be short and they're as long as the episode? We haven't even watched the whole episode. It's just me moaning at you for 20 minutes.
Oh, I'll save the alcohol till afterwards.
Oh, alright, well, I'm stopping the recording.